This is Twit.
Now let's move on to the second enterprise bite, which also concerns Microsoft. Unfortunately, it's not quite the same positive tenor. This concerns Lync, Australian, for domestic surveillance. Now, of course, we're all going to be a little sensitive about surveillance right now. We know that the NSA spy program has had a lot of embarrassing secrets released about it. But at the Lync conference last week in Las Vegas, just actually ending last Friday, a software developer by the name of Event Zero demonstrated how the data collected by Lync as just part of its regular maintenance could be used to, well, do a big data interpretation that would give you things like what employees were having interoffice romances, who was looking for another job, who was communicating too much with a competitor, and in effect, spy on them by the types of communications that they were doing within the Lync platform. Again, I want to throw this to you first, Lou, because you use Lync every day. I mean, it's your homegrown communication platform. Right. There's going to be people who look at this and they're shocked and they're shaken. But just between us, every enterprise product that tries to do any sort of real-time communication is going to have to collect the same data that Lync is collecting, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just confused by this story. I don't know if this specific hacker or person just needed to find another thing to present about, that they were just missing content, but it doesn't make anybody who's a PBX admin from the previous years or from decade knows that they wish they had such data. And then now Lync is actually providing that data for admins. So you have to be an admin of the machine to be able to collect that information off that server. And for admins to be able to get this, to be able to handle things around call quality and dropped calls and bandwidth used, network injection, all that information, and I guess similar systems out in the cloud. I bet you they could probably, if I went to other cloud services, I'm not going to name names, but if I went to other cloud services out there that do email and so on, I bet you they could probably run the same type of AI or data collection algorithms on it to figure out about what you're doing during the day. In fact, I think there's services purchased by companies like Apple that can determine your schedule throughout the day based off of the cloud services you use. And so I don't necessarily agree with this article. I guess even in the article, he basically says, oh, yeah, same data can be pulled from other VoIP systems, too. I mean, I guess it doesn't make any – I don't know what the presentation was about. I'm just confused. Yeah.
I think, to be clear, also to be fair, they did say, look, this is information that will be available from other enterprise platforms. They just used Lync as an example because since Lync has a lot of hooks, it was easier to pull the data out of Lync. But again, as you said, that's a feature. That's not a bug. It's not like Lync is leaking information. Lync has a, what do they call it? The performance center, the administrative center, the control panel that lets you see all this data. All these people were doing is taking that data and using it to correlate certain activities that were happening within your enterprise. Now, I want to toss this over to you, Curtis, because I think what Lou was talking about exposes a big conflict, a big problem, a big disconnect that we have between IT people and, say, executives or just the regular user. I was down at the Interop warehouse the other day, and we were talking about all the NSA speculation. And we were talking about how there are people who come up to us and say, well, you're spying on me. And the answer of an IT person should be, yeah. That's what we do. If you're on our network, we're looking at your data. We're trying to figure out where we need to put resources, where we need to have extra equipment and extra services. So to you, when you have an executive who reads an article like this and starts saying, oh, well, I didn't realize we were spying on our employees. There's all sorts of legal obligations that we have to meet. How do you deal with that? I mean, how do you tell an executive who's probably a little gun-shy about anything that sounds like spying that, no, we actually need to do this, and no, this is completely normal?
Well, I think one of the important things you tell the executive is that you've been doing it for a long time. Network administrators have been gathering as much information as they could from every data source possible for as long as possible. As everyone has pointed out, this is what you do if you want to present reliable, sustainable, high-performance bandwidth to your enterprise. It's just part of the game. This isn't new. It's not exciting. It's just part of doing business. Now, if you've got an executive who's getting upset about it, what you tell them is the truth. We've been doing this forever. Are we doing more of it now? Probably, because the tools are getting better. Have we run it past our legal department? Yeah, they know about it. We have policies in place. there's no news here. There's nothing to see. Move along.